Welcome to the OMG Show.
Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the OMG Show. So, in the past, I've talked about how to select a niche, right? We want to select a base that's passionate, that has different level types of offers and multiple things in order to select a niche. But today, I want to specifically talk about how to pick a profitable niche. And the reason for that is being that if you can select a profitable niche, you have a higher likelihood of finding opportunity and being able to carve your own little piece of the pie for yourself out of that market cake. Okay, so how do we go about actually finding a profitable niche? And so when it comes to finding profitable niches, I tend to focus on three main things as kind of like my base before I look at some other factors. And so the three things that you should be looking at is number one, right? We should be looking at Google Trends. So what you want to do is go on Google, type in Google Trends, and see if any niche market that you want is trending. Okay, and you want to look at the curve. You want to look at the long term and see, is it trending down or is it trending up? Right? Google has a great tool to show you the longevity of a particular market. Okay, and you can do this for everything, for outside camping, outdoors, real estate, wealth generation, right? So typically what you might want to do is look at the list of some awesome niches, and then go through Google Trends and see what is the trend, what's going up, what's going down, and look at the longevity of that market. Okay, because if it has longevity, right, if it has history, that means it's been around for a while. That means that there's people in there that have been making money. There's definitely competitors. So for you, that lets you know that, okay, well, if there's competitors in there, and they've been there for a while, that means they're probably making money. So all I need to do is study them, figure out how I can tweak my offer, and then I can produce an offer for the market. Okay, there's also sustainability, which means that there's a market base there that you can tap into, rather than starting from a brand new niche. Right, so for example, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is relatively new. So for me, for example, I probably wouldn't want to go in there because the longevity isn't there. However, there still might be opportunity there, just a little bit more risk. So longevity, depending on your risk threshold, is going to tell you whether or not there's going to be a good market or a bad market for you to enter. Okay, but that's the first thing. We always start out with Google Trends and we look at, okay, is this market that I'm thinking about, is this a good market to get into or not? And how am I going to know that? Well, I'm going to look at the trend. I'm going to see, is it increasing in terms of the number of searches or decreasing? If it's increasing, that's perfect. That's what you want. Okay, that's checkbox number one. The second thing you want to look into is to determine whether or not there's big money being spent in that market. Okay, and for me, when it comes to determining whether big money is being spent, especially like in advertising, you want to look at some old school direct mail marketing. So, are there magazines and are there direct mail pieces? Okay, billboards, right? Those are the things that you want to look at, because a lot of these old school marketing techniques, they don't have necessarily specific metrics that you can use to track, right? It's not like a Facebook ad where you can see the amount of clicks, the amount of sales, and the ROI you generated immediately. No, with a billboard, you put it up, you pay a price, and then you have to look at the numbers and see if your sales were affected in any which way. But you don't necessarily know by how much or the percentage or the margin, unless you have a very specific system. But that's a different story. So you want to look at, okay, this market, again, it's trending positive on Google Trends, so that's a good sign. Now, are there magazines related to this market? Are there direct mail pieces related to this market? Am I seeing billboards displayed around this market? Because again, if people are spending big money, like a magazine, a physical magazine, especially now, no one's going to print that magazine if it's not producing an ROI of some kind. No one's going to put up a billboard if it's not producing an ROI of some kind, right? So you want to look into, okay, does this market have magazines, direct mail pieces, billboards, old school, direct mail marketing, right? Does it have that? And if it does, there's big money being spent. Okay, and even better is that if there are, you can see kind of like what the specifics are within that market, right? Is it just hunting, or is it hunting and fishing, right? Is it just hairstyles, or is it something more specific than that, right? You have to select your niche, and then once you find out your niche, you look at what people are talking about in those niches. Okay, and the magazines are by far the best. In fact, go to your Barnes and Noble. Well, not now because of the coronavirus. So, but just see what magazines are available. You can go to Google again and type in magazines for XYZ. Right, you can see all the top magazines that come up related to that search market, related to your search. If there aren't a whole lot of magazines, then maybe you want to go ahead and look at a different niche. Okay, but if there are a ton of magazines, that's going to be a good niche for you to go into. And the really cool thing about that is that the more kind of magazines you see, you can kind of think of them as your competitors in a sense. But you can see kind of like where can you position yourself in that marketplace to then attract the right people into your business. Okay, even better is that, down the line, if you do want to advertise, you already know where you're going to advertise because you have all the magazines already there and available, right? Direct mail pieces too. You can look at and see if there's any direct mail pieces being sent to certain areas, kind of what the copy is on them, what the offers are, etc., etc. And that way you can start creating your own little marketing plan. But at the end of the day, you want to track dollars. Okay, you want to see that these big money spenders are in business because they're making an ROI. So therefore, you, if you get your things right, can generate an ROI. The last thing that I tend to look at when I am selecting a profitable niche, and it's something that I mentioned before when it comes to selecting niches in general, is does it have possibilities for low, mid, high tier products, and can it support a membership and or subscription? Okay, and the reason why I typically tend to look at that is because it lets me know that I can build sales funnels, okay, and have a way of producing recurring revenue, right? So my mid, my low, and my high tier products, that means that I can get people on a very low end side, right? So I can generate customers quickly. The mid tier and high tiers let me know that I can scale my business with back end products, that I can increase the lifetime value of my customer, that I can increase the average cart value of my customers, and I have the potential to offset my cost of advertising. Okay, subscriptions, right? Everyone has a subscription, and the reason why is because it's safety and it's security. Right? If you just sell one-off products, right? If you just sell one program one time and you generate $30,000 in revenue a month, great. However, next month you start right back at zero. With subscriptions, it's a little bit different, right? You can have 1,000 people in there paying $30 a month and expect $30,000 next month. Of course, you have to factor in churn and things like that. However, subscriptions and membership-based businesses provide a lot of financial security, and that's great if you're a business because, as you know, cash flow tends to be a very how do we call it? It's kind of like a roller coaster for many businesses to navigate. It's a lot of ups and downs. So you want something steady and predictable. And so you want to make sure that the niche you're selecting can support that. So how do we go about finding these things? Well, again, you look at your competitors. You look at what your competitors are offering, what the price points are, what kind of product mix are they offering, and most of all, are they offering any kind of memberships or subscriptions? All right, are there any subscription boxes? Are there any membership programs? What are they doing to get that recurring revenue stream? Okay, now again, if I have mid, low, and high tier programs, that gives me the confidence that I can create a program fairly quickly, run ads to it, and see if I can generate some type of ROI without having to invest a lot of time, energy, and money into an idea that may end up flopping in a niche that may not be even profitable. All right. So to recap quickly, make sure to go to Google Trends, right? Look at a trend for a specific market and see if the trend is going up or down. If it's going up, great. If it's going down, not so good. Check out and see if there's big money being spent in that market. So look at, magazines, direct mail pieces, billboards, etc., and see what are they advertising, how are they advertising. And generally speaking, if they're willing to advertise on those mediums, there's definitely a high chance that they're making a profit from it. So therefore, you're going to be able to carve yourself a little piece of that pie. And then last but not least, ensure that there is a low, mid, and high tier product mix along with a subscription and or membership program somewhere, so that way you can create a business where you can create offers that are low end but can pay for your ads, but then also scale your business with these one-offs and ultimately provide you with security by having some kind of subscription in the long run. All right, and that is how we go about selecting a profitable niche. Thank you.